And if we can start with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Thank you for being here. The purpose of the meeting is for the board to conduct board business. Meeting is open to the public and is being recorded. You can listen to all past board meetings by visiting board docs through the district website. This meeting is being presented via Zoom. Do want to remind folks not appropriate for audience members to interrupt board business or ask questions. Agenda items will be addressed as listed in the agenda, and in case of emergency, please exit to the exit closest to you. Director Rocco, would you care to share our vision and mission statements?
Be happy to. Our vision is our community inspires and prepares each student to thrive, and our mission is in connection with our community. The Sequim School District empowers staff to inspire hope and provide flexible, innovative learning opportunities in a safe and respectful environment so each student thrives.
Great, thank you. And Director Hollingsman, would you share our would you care to share our land?
Sure. We acknowledge the land we stand on. The Sequim School District administrative and school buildings sit on the ancestral land of the S'Klallam people. While the S'Klallam traditionally come from one nation, history has led to the formation of three sovereign S'Klallam tribal governments. Lower Elwha S'Klallam tribe, located in Port Angeles, Jamestown S'Klallam tribe, located in Sequim, Port Gamble S'Klallam tribe, located in Kingston, Washington. The district's primary partnership is with the Jamestown S'Klallam tribe. Today, the tribe and district share a partnership that includes official consultation on program and funding changes that may directly affect American Indian and Alaska Native students, as well as holistic service planning for students to remain successful in their educational journeys.
Great. Thank you very much. All right, and that's going to bring us to approval of our minutes, consent agenda, and agenda. And prior to doing that, I did just want to take a personal point of privilege regarding one of the agenda items that we have on there. And I know we have Mr. Jeffryes here with us today. And I first just want to take a moment to recognize Larry for his dedicated service to the Sequim School Board from 2019 until now. Larry's been, I was just speaking with him, been on the board through some interesting times, some incredibly challenging times, in fact, helping guide the district through the COVID-19 pandemic right out of the gate, and also assisted with multiple leadership transitions during his tenure, but had a steady focus and a deep sense of responsibility throughout. Also serving as our WASDA legislative representative, ensuring our advocacy at a state level, helped ensure that our voice was always heard. Larry brought a fiscally minded perspective to every discussion with thoughtful questions that I believe, in my opinion, helped make us better, helped us make more informed decisions. And I just want to thank Larry for his commitment to students, staff, and families of Sequim, and I definitely appreciate his public service. And I would just open it up to anyone else on the board if you'd like to share.
I'd like to just thank Larry for being there when I first joined the board. He was a great mentor to me in introducing me to the ins and outs of being a board member, and also his conscientious and sometimes courageous just pursuit of getting his questions answered was a role model for me. I will say too that he always referred to himself as the grumpy old man. And I want to dispute that a little, because I think of grumpy as somebody who's kind of pessimistic and given up. Those are the grumps I've known in my life. And Larry is an optimist. That's why he was on this board. And that's part of why I value him, is that wanting to make the world a better place and knowing that it can be better. So thank you, Larry.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Yeah, I'll echo what the others said on the board, although I've only been with Larry a couple years on the board. I remember his first words to me when I got accepted on the board. He looked at me and goes, "It's not what you think." And he was right. But on top of that, he has met with me probably close to a dozen times with coffee. When I had questions about the board, had questions about roles, questions about things, and he was always there. I don't think he ever told me no, that he wouldn't meet with me. So I really, really appreciate your mentorship there, Larry. You wouldn't know it that I think we vote on different things differently outside of school board stuff, but everywhere here has been a pleasant interaction with Larry. And any disagreements we've had, I felt we've always come to the same conclusion at the end, because he always had a heart for the students. And so I definitely appreciate you, and I appreciate your mentorship, and you're willing to meet with me as the junior member here, not knowing much about a school board. And as a retired teacher, I appreciate the knowledge that you were willing to share with me and take your own time to do that. So thank you for that, Larry. I personally appreciate it.
I would again echo what everybody else has said, and also Larry, you were, obviously one of the more experienced members when I first joined the board as well, and really didn't know what to expect. And I felt like you always were open to talking to me about any questions that I had. If we disagreed, we always disagreed respectfully, and I always really appreciated not only the fiscal mindedness that you brought and the real consistent request for accountability, and because I knew it was always based on, we're doing this for the kids, we're doing this for the teachers, and I also respected and appreciated the perspective that you brought as a career-long teacher and somebody who had been a teacher, a science teacher who had that sciencey mindset, and a coach. So you had that love for the kids and the sports and the understanding of the needs for the facilities. And I just felt like you brought such a broad perspective. And there were so many things about your past that made you a perfect school board member. So thank you for that, that perspective that you brought. And we will never again propose an exact date for filing a report without. That is, but the thing is, that's the thing. It's like, that's the kind of thing you can say, well, that was me being a grumpy something, whatever, but that is exactly what people need. That's exactly what we need to do. And sometimes you have to keep saying it over and over to get the point across, but the point is the right point, so again, I appreciate it. We'll always think of you when we put those dates into policies, and I hope you and your lovely wife are able to spend time with your family and do the other things that you'll now be able to do without having the commitments on the board. So thank you.
Nice.
Well, superintendents get to know board members in unique and different ways, and I know Larry as the early bird of this group. And so Larry and I had our times of talking well before buses were perhaps even rolling sometimes, Larry, don't you think? And it was great because it was a fresh way to be able to hear his interests, questions, wonderings, and he always gave me a day of time to be able to figure things out. And the other thing is that superintendents, we put a lot of work into making sure we're giving communication out. And Larry, I just want to thank you for your feedback. You've given me so much feedback about what you are receiving, what we're discussing, and that helps to give great guidance to someone in my position. So I've always appreciated that. Candor is no mystery to Larry, and I think that is very important in this day and age. People just saying what they mean, and thanks for setting that tone for us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Larry, do you want to take a minute?
I have to say, at least something, I worked on a short statement that I passed through all my family members and GPT, and they'd be disappointed if I didn't get some of this out. First of all, thank you all for your comments. They were very meaningful to me, and it's good to hear. Hopefully, might take time at some board meetings or work sessions or sometimes to do that again for all the existing board members while they're still in office, and we appreciate them for It was after considerable thought and consideration that I believed it was the right time for me personally. And and for the school district that I stepped down at this time after 6 years on the board. Um, Serving our schools and our students and the educators in the community has been a great honor and pleasure and very meaningful and rewarding. So I appreciate that. I encourage anybody out there who cares about public education and kids, students to apply for my position. You'll be hearing more about that in the near future about how that process works. I would say to whoever, and I follow up on what Michael said, there's a steep learning curve to being on the school board. And so take the time to read, listen, learn all you can about what school boards do, what school boards actually do, and ask questions and do your homework because it'll pay off, but it's a steep learning curve. As for me, after 57 years working in education in one way or another, including the 6 years on the board, I'm looking forward to what may come next. I'm not sure what it is. I don't know if it'll involve education. Education kind of gets into your blood. We'll see what happens. My daughter and my wife, Shirley, they usually have a ritual that they've started where on night meetings of the board, they go for girls' night out. They have invited me to go out with them on the next one, but so far only that one. So we plan to keep the tradition alive where they'll go out once in a while for girls' night out, and I'll stay home and eat leftovers or whatever, which is fine with me.
And watch this meeting on Zoom.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, watch. Well, see, that's one thing I'm gonna have to figure out. Do I zoom in or not? So it's been a pleasure and an honor to serve with you on the board. So I thank all of you. Now you've got work to do. You got serious good work to do tonight. So I'm saying I'll stop now so you can get to work. And I leave the district in good hands, the board, the leadership, the staff, and that makes me feel good about it. But I will check back annually.
Any specific time?
I will check back annually and see how you're doing. So again, thank you very much. And I think I'll leave you to your work now.
All right.
So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we have expressed to Larry that we'll be inviting him back after our successful appointment. So we'll be seeing you again.
Yeah, I plan to be here for swearing in night whenever
All
whenever that may be.
All right.
Okay.
We'll be looking forward to that.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing him, Shirley.
All right. So with that, we'll move for adoption of the consent agenda and minutes. One thing to note, there were 2 travel documents that were added to the consent agenda that weren't on there when it was originally published. So just want to make sure I call y'all's attention to that in case you hadn't taken a look at that prior to. And we are going to be adding an agenda item as well under board action. Just because along with Larry's departure of the board, we need to choose a WASDA representative to fill that role, at least temporarily. So we're gonna add that as an action item under board business. So so with that, is there any objection to the approval of the consent agenda and minutes as proposed?
No objection, but I did want to take a moment to thank Jody Olson for her generous donation of a $9,000 baby grand piano for the music program. So thank you, Jody.
Awesome. All right. Excellent. Yeah. We want to mention the minutes for not only the last board meeting, but also study session, board annual workshop as well. So all of those minutes to be approved. So hearing no objection, we'll consider those approved. And that's going to bring us to public comments. If you are attending the meeting via Zoom and would like to make a public comment, please do so using the raise hand feature down at the bottom of your screen and to indicate your desire to speak for public comment. Go ahead and do that now. Okay. All right, not seeing anybody online wishing to make public comments, so we'll go ahead and close that portion of the meeting. And that's going to bring us no student board representative reports until September. So that's going to bring us to 7.01. We have our communications report. Moving right along.
Hello and good evening. All right, I do have something for y'all. Oh, packets. It's a game.
Right.
Because sometimes it's fun to sit and do a game. Okay. Is everyone on track? All right. So tonight, in front of you is a communications bingo card and with some words. So, real quick, am I talking out of this one or this one or both? Both. Okay, good. Just want to make sure I'm doing the correct thing. The little stickers, you just go ahead and put one on top of the words that you just like bingo. Just fun little game. All right, tonight is my annual report for communications, but the subtitle really could be celebration, communication celebrations. We've had so many amazing things that happened this year. And so I just want to be able to really framework what I do here, but then also where some goals are. So awesome. All right. So I do a lot of things in my office, out of my office, all over. And one of my very favorite things that I have learned to do is be flexible and pivot a lot. One of the things that I heard 8 years ago when I first interviewed for a job here at the school district is when I asked the panel of people interviewing me, what is something that I should take into account before I accept a job here? Was don't ever expect the same day every day. It's always going to be different. And I remember thinking that was such a big statement. I am so grateful for that statement because it has made my curiosity at the school district just grow by being able to shape really honestly a lot of different ways that we communicate to our public. One of the things that I know that you guys have been very forthcoming about is that you want us to be able to communicate in many different ways so that nobody's left in the dust or in the dark about things. So we have really, really worked hard this year to be able to do that. So on the across the top, you're going to see different types of communication that we do. These are just, I would say, normal things we have, or not across the top. The across the top is where we put things, and across the side is what we would normally post about.
Mhm.
So we have emergency alert, we have school closing, so weather stuff, event information, etc. Across the top is where we put them. And I think a lot of times people are needing a reminder of where we put them. And we're going to put this on our website underneath the communications so that when people go to look for things, they know where to look. And I think that also helps. All right. So one of the fun things that I got to do last year, because I gave this presentation in May, in July of last year, I was able to sit in rooms and at the feet of some of the leading people in the communications world. And I am so grateful I was able to go. So the NSPRA, or the National School Public so a Public Relations Association, they do a conference, and it is, and a lot of times on the East Coast. This year it was, or this last year was in Bellevue. And so it was just in our neighborhood. So I just thought I'd pop over there. And I was able to take classes that honestly, one, blew my mind, and two, enabled me to understand how important partnerships are, not only just in our community, but in the communications world. I was able to have so many opportunities to meet with people who had been where I've been and are where I want to be. And so being able to do that and see it through the lens of what our school district needs and should be at, has really helped me walk in a way where I'm forward thinking and I'm trying to think a couple steps ahead of where we want to be. So that was really fun. The picture right there on the screen is my first award that I won, and that was last year. I won a merit win for our magazine, and so I was just pointing out our name was on one of the boards, which was really cool. There was 1,700 people that were there in attendance, so it was very, very busy, and it was fun, and it was joyful. It was a really good time. All right. So speaking of awards, June 2024 was the very first one. And so this last year, we were able to do a lot. And one of the things that we did do was a video. And that video came with a great partnership with Silas Cruz. He is a videographer in our city. He's also a parent of students here in our school district. And he was such a great partner. He was able to really take down notes with me of what we can do in a video and was able to make a script. And Superintendent Nichols was very gracious to say that she'd be in the video. And she took us on a walking tour of two of our campuses that needed some shaping. And she was able to show people who couldn't get on our campus what we needed. And I think that it was not only just her being able to do that, but our school districts being accommodating to every group that we have living here in Sequim. So we ended up getting an award of excellence for that, which was the highest you can get in that area. And so Silas also received the same award, which is really exciting.
Nice.
We also put in our magazine again because I truly believe in the excellence. I really want it so bad, you guys. But here's alas, it was a merit to win, and that's okay. That's still a win. One of the things that I learned about myself is I love setting goals, but I also want to understand. And when you get a merit win, you don't get notes on what you could do better. On an excellence, you get notes on what you did great. And so one of the things I thought in my head was, I would like to see, I believe our magazine is excellent, but I'm going to put in one of the stories that I'm really proud of. And it was about one of our teachers and her going from the clouds to the classroom. And so I put it in and I was able to get or snag a award of excellence and excellence in writing. And I am so proud of it. It was so exciting to be able to get that. I can't even tell you. I was at the time upstairs in my office and I'm sure everyone could hear me scream. I was so excited to open that email. And then it's so cool because it shows all kinds of yummy confetti. So.
Very nice.
All right. So last year we talked about a website and what was the need to get a facelift on it. And honestly, it's more than just a facelift. We wanted to tell a story and really framework the excellence that's happening inside of our building. And what better way than a photograph? Because a photograph really equals 1,000 words. And our framework we had before was so tiny, and it was just the way it was laid out wasn't correct. It wasn't bright, it wasn't light, and we needed to really accentuate what really was happening. So our new website has huge picture, very big picture. It also enables us to tell a little bit of the story, what's happening in the picture. And so as you can go on our website, you can scroll through. We have all brand new pictures. Also, along the bottom, you can see those buttons. Those really help navigate you to go exactly where you're needing to be. A lot of times we heard from our secretaries when we polled them and building administrators is that our families didn't know where to go to find the information that was clearly being told. It just wasn't put in the place where they thought it should be. So what we've done here is really try to put out where things are, how to get to them. And then if you can't get to it, it's pretty open at the very top when you go across it. Underneath that portion, when you go to our website, we actually have a new feature and it's the current news, like what's happening on our district right now. And so we've been able to put up stories about what's happening. A lot of times it's what is currently going to be happening. We do put up some of those stories as well. All right, social media. So one of the things that we have currently for ourselves, not only is our website where we can put communication, but social media through Facebook. And this is just a little glimpse of what the last couple years have looked like. You look at their first year, and if you remember, one of the communication goals that we had was that we would get information out through social media. I know that sometimes it can be a little scary to put something out there. So we started slowly. And as you can see, it wasn't disappointing. It just wasn't also wowing. The next year, last year, we jumped huge, huge. Our goals were met. We're really excited. And I have to say, I was like a little scared to make some other goals. So we're going to actually go to the next slide. And our goals were met. How exciting! Overly met. We ended up seeing a lot of growth around the time of January, February, when we were looking at a measure on our ballot, and a lot of the content interactions happened outside of people that were following us, which is really, really good. That means our community was kind of queuing in to see what was happening. And I know that was something we were worried about at one point, is like, how are we getting everybody, not just our families? So some of them are finding us there. Our goal this next year is a campaign we're going to be launching, and it's the get to know you. And we have families that have yet to join the swim school district. And I'm really excited to find out bridges to get them before kindergarten. We want to talk to those families. We have a lot to offer, and I really truly believe now is the time. And so our goal next year is to get over 300 new followers, and that those people would be brand new to our district. That would be just really exciting. All right, so communication celebrations that we have, and an area where we get to do that is weekly in our building newsletters. Now, we do have schools that had building newsletters a couple years ago, and even before that, we made it more of a consistent thing after COVID. And so we've been doing it a few years now and very strong. Some of our buildings are on top of it, and they get it to me on a Wednesday or Thursday. They're so excited. Others, it's like, we have this new thing coming up. We got to wait. So it goes out on Friday. Every family gets it, and it is specific to the building that their student is in, which I think is excellent, because those are the ones that parents are really opening first thing, because they're worried about what's happening in their own child's life. Then we get to do Kaleidoscope Magazine, and we do that seasonally 4 times a year. The greatest thing in this last year has been talking to people that have no interactions outside of reading this magazine with me. Meeting new people that are like, wow, I've read about this magazine. It's so great. They had no idea who I am, which is really great. But being able to say, I'm really excited for what's happening here in swim. And I think that was what we were really hoping for, is that people would get excited like we're excited. Now, many people are wanting to know, where is this library? Well, it's on our website, and it's underneath communications. So if you scan the QR code, also has the word in the middle, but right there, it will take you to 7 magazines that have over 140 stories and over 450 pictures of really what is happening here. And to me, that's amazing. Over there on the left-hand side, you're going to see the 4 that came out this year. And I think that it really does take a great photograph right there. That's really what's happening. Celebrations, kids smiling, things are happening, awards are being won. I think that's pretty cool. All right, one of the things that I learned is that I can look up some really fun stats. So I thought this was really interesting. If you go to the left-hand side, we have 2 different kinds of devices. So obviously you have I just want to make sure I have the right thing here. I thought it would be like mostly everyone reading it on their phone, but it's almost 50-50. And I think that's actually really cool, because the features in which that you read it, you can really get in and dig in and click on things a lot easier when you're on your desktop. But the coolest thing that I thought was awesome today was that map right there is a map, and everything in purple is countries in which our kaleidoscope is read in. And there are our top 10 countries. I'm going to read them to you. United States, of course, Canada, Ireland, Mexico, Philippines, South Africa, United Kingdom, Belize, Romania, and Cameroon. I think that's really cool. That means it's
Yeah.
being read worldwide. Now, are they grandparents? Probably. That does not matter. But you know what? They're reading about our kids. They're seeing our pictures. They're celebrating all around the world. And that's what I want to believe. And the greatest thing is we have been in front of, when you look at total impressions, just short of 800,000. That's a lot. And then a total reads 23,000. That's pretty great. Let's get it up to 50. And then also we're just short of 3 minutes. So the greatest thing ever is that people are reading it. It's not just a flip through. It's not just a click. So I think that's a huge win. Communication partnerships, I cannot do it alone. I can't even pretend like I would be able to do it alone. Some of the thank yous that I want to give to our community for their generosity and time would be the Sequim Chamber of Commerce, Sequim Gazette, both radio stations, KSQM and KOMP. Shipley Center has been awesome. Thank you so much. And also the Sequim Public Library. Thank you so much for helping navigate communications. Partnering with us to send out our communications has been amazing. And I'm so excited. Thank you. Did anybody get a bingo? Blackout. Perfect. Awesome. Do you guys have any questions?
Can I just say,
Please do.
I'm excited about your excitement. I mean, it's just so infectious to listen to you talk about what you're doing and to see the actual, I mean, you can be enthusiastic, but then you actually can also produce a product. And that's really, it's just so impressive. And I'm so excited. I feel like every time anybody goes anywhere, I feel like going, take your laptop and open the kaleidoscope. Do it for Megan.
Let's get 50,000.
But no, I just, I feel like in terms of things that have changed in my 4 years that I've been here, this is just a huge change in terms of, I mean, one, focusing on the need to communicate with the community, and then actually developing a plan to effectively communicate with the community in all different media, on all different topics. And I'm so appreciative of your creativity and your thoughtfulness about like, okay, well, what's maybe the next thing I can do, and that kind of competitive spirit. I totally get that. Like,
Yeah.
what? I got a B. I'm getting it.
I got an excellent. I want an excellent. So what do I need to do?
I just love that attitude. So this has been a really fun presentation, and thank you, and just keep it up.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I was so transfixed. I didn't even play the game.
All right, so next is our special education report.
That is right. Thank you. Well, I was a little anxious to give this report tonight, and it was made so much easier by following Megan report tonight. And so I'm happy to report on your annual report for special education. It will be my first and probably my last report. And so let's get it started. So we wanted to highlight some changes to our staff with retirement of Director Langston. We have a new Director of Learning Support Services, Stephen Dahl, and he started with us the 1st of July. And we look very forward to having him on board with the Sequim School District. We have a new school psychologist, Tammy Short, a new SLP from Arizona, Michelle Raymond, and we've got a middle school resource position pending. So not a lot of hiring, but the hiring we do have are replacing folks who have moved on from our district. Wanted to give you just an overview of special education numbers. If it has felt over the last several years like we've had a trend up in special education, we have. So over 50 new students in the last 4 years, over 20 students this last year. So this is data we're looking at and wanting to really look at the numbers of kids being identified since COVID and trying to decide what are the reasons for those increase in numbers and if it's a reaction of the system. There are a lot of different ways kids can qualify. One of the things we've talked to Director Dahl about is looking at that process for referral and kids being identified as having a learning disability. So that's something we want to look at, but has felt like we've had increases. We have almost 500 students in a district of 2,600 students. So that's a very high population of students who qualify. We look about the categories that kids find out eligibility. The highest area is still specific learning disability, but you'll see the number of students who are health impaired, students identified with autism, developmental delays, communication disorders are all very, we have some high area kids. I have one area other, and that's because we have single kids identified in specific categories. And so we lump those all in as just an other so that they're not as identifiable. When you look at developmental delays, a lot of times you'll see that in an elementary school. Students at an elementary can be identified in a little catch-all, and then as they move through the system, they will be re-identified. So that's one of the areas we'll want to look at. How are we identifying students, particularly K2? So wanted to talk about a little, just some legislative updates for this year. This particular one goes into effect at the end of this month, and it's changing the age. We did change the age to 22 years old by birth date, but now it's the end of the school year in which a student turns 22. So that gives them the full year and helps them have a smoother transition into after school living. Senate Bill 5263, this board has discussed this many times this school year, so it also goes into effect at the end of July, looking at eliminating the funding cap, increasing reimbursement rates, changing the transparency of reporting to OSPI, inclusionary practices, early interventions, and then monitoring technical assistance. So OSPI is becoming more directive in some of this learning through this new bill. So you may have questions about that as we move on. A bill to watch for is an inclusionary practices and funding support bill. It's currently in the House Rules Committee. It has not had a vote on the floor, but it's something that there is interest in as far as just emphasizing training and resources to help schools implement inclusive strategies. In the school district, we've been doing this for years. We're involved in a project with AWSP and Shelley Moore. We have Elizabeth Lawson, who is one of our is our only coach now at the district level, and she is inclusionary practices aficionado, very good at technology, finding ways to help kids be more inclusive with our curricula, and as well as in the classroom as well. I think right now I'll stop and share a little bit. I can't talk and walk at the same time. Because we know that Larry said it, the director, Jeffrey said it as he was up here, Megan said it, that desire to continuously improve. We know that the way that we will help students on IEPs is to continue and to improve the skill sets that those adults with whom they work carry around with them on a day-to-day basis. So at the end of last year, we made the decision that one of our professional learning days this summer, right before school starts, will be solely in the area of special education. So I reached out to our ESD with a long list of things that I had just personally heard principals, teachers talking about frustrations or they wish they knew more. And so, along with the help of our ESD, they've sent maybe 10 speakers will come this year. And you can see the classes that we're offering and the folks who will be teaching it. We have classes specific to the area of autism. We have classes on child find, so identifying students early before they come of age to be in school. Um, just so many different things, how to write a good IEP. I've asked Dr. Acuna to also, in that session, talk about how to exit students from special education, because that's sometimes as important as moving them into special education and giving them the services that they need. So we're pretty excited about this PL Day. Every person in the district will take classes, and there are also classes they will choose. We sent it out just before school was out. They got to register for the classes that matter to them. So again, independent learning for folks who can scratch the itch that they have or close a gap area for themselves. So pretty excited about this, and it works well into where the legislature, I think, is thinking too, that we have to have a really good skill set if we're going to make those changes for kids in their classrooms. Want to talk just a little bit about safety net. We have not done safety net in the district for a bit, and this year we had success. Dr. Prine helped us with this, and Laura Wright, Crystal Brown, and the LSS department also helped. So we've secured about just over $400,000 to help mitigate, offset costs of serving students within the district. We have two key areas that we turned in for safety net this year, and that's students who attend Northwater Regional School on the Kitsap Peninsula, and also to help offset contract services that we have through the ESD for students, including teachers of the deaf, teachers of the visually impaired. These are specific, very small groups of students that need highly trained specialists. So those are areas that we were able to accrue some money back from through safety net. And then just a interesting year in learning support services with personnel, early departure of our 25-year leader in that program. So we want to just recognize the work of folks throughout our school community, making it a successful year for students. Again, I mentioned Crystal and Laura Wright, Crystal Brown and Laura Wright through LSS. They have really bridged that gap. I've worked very hard to ensure really a smooth year for students in our department and students within our district. And then lastly, our principals, our special ed staff are just really holding true to what we believe is best for kids, working hard and putting in that time to make sure that while we had some just a different kind of year, they probably did not even know that in the classroom, just through the hard work of the folks in our district. Our last slide is just a reminder, when we come together for students, there's really no limit to what we can achieve, and just wanting to thank these groups of people for hard work and just commitment to students in our program, the district, as we've moved through this school year. Happy to have Director Dahl coming on this year. He's been very busy getting to know staff, reaching out to the people on LSS, trying to get his foundation really short up before it comes on, before the school year starts is what I guess I want to say. But again, just want to take this moment at the end of a year in special ed to thank those who have really helped it be successful. And then I'm happy to have any questions or comments, and we'll do our best to answer those. I guess I want to just say we've had some great growth in our scores where students on IEPs are concerned. And while growth is important, achievement is also important. And so we're looking at that growth as a springboard and achievements, what we're looking for next. And we think some of the PD that we'll have for staff will get us to that next level of kids really having academic success well throughout the district.
Questions?
I was just curious whether that increase in the number of students in special ed, whether that is mirrored in other districts, or is it something distinctive to our district, or?
I couldn't say with, I didn't look anything of that up, but I do think that it is, at least the people I talked to in Port Angeles have had the same kind of an occurrence happening. I think there are a lot of reasons for that. I think students came back from COVID, although we're 5 years out on COVID. We want to remember that our kindergartners were infants during COVID. So things have changed. Just so many things have changed. I think when you have students coming in, I think I want to say cell phones, iPads, things that little people are on can mask a little bit the way that they develop. And so I think that we're seeing some differences in students. I think that's part of the increase, but I think we see that same, it's occurring in kids at all age. I mean, we're doing research on that, as are you, and that's, I think special ed is the one true system we have in the school district that really shores up kids who are divergent in their learning. And so I think we can say there are some reasons, but I think it is across the state. I think it's why you've heard it be a legislative conversation, why we're seeing some bills in these areas, because I think it is noticeable.
Thank you.
In addition to the, and I know you've heard us talk about this, but in addition to the cap getting lifted from a funding perspective, I think one of the things that we have advocated for is that the funding ratio itself may not be up to date for the actual costs that a district incurs. Would you certainly say that's the case for our district as well?
I would defer to Regan for that. I mean, I would say yes, but I'm probably not the expert in the district on special ed or finance.
Well, remember, for any high cost special education situation, a school district has a minimum amount that we have to pay initially, and that is a little bit above 40,000 now. So although you have safety net to assist if it's approved, you have to always think you're making that initial commitment right off the bat. And then just to provide a strong, robust system for referrals and making sure testing is happening and MTSS is happening, that takes money too. And that's where I think we don't see enough funding because it's not proactive. It's almost a wait to fail model in some ways. So I agree with you. We've got to see a change.
Okay. Anything else? All right.
Thank you. Bingo.
All right. I think that's gonna bring us to superintendent report.
Okay, what we're going to do initially is something unique. We're going to head outside and Director Sanos is going to take us on a walkabout because one of the most significant things that has happened in the last 3 to 4 weeks are summer projects that have been either underway or are finished already. So before we head out, is there anything you'd like to say or set up before we go?
So 3 major refurbishments that we embarked on this summer. I went through it in the last facility presentation, but show you the progress. So that's the middle school.
Wow.
Floor. That thanks to our risk pool partners, we were able to not only repair the floor, it's water damage, but we're able to sand it completely down, restripe it, and recoat it. So first time it's been done in that facility since 1998.
Wow.
So, yeah, it looks like a new floor and it's
Yeah.
a fabulous floor.
It's exciting.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, thanks to contractors. I mean, that's their handiwork right there. I mean, that's what professional refinishing looks like.
Mhm.
It's amazing stuff.
So you're saying we should get have water damage more often? Is that?
No,
Is that-
I'm not saying that, and it certainly was not something they knew about. It's fixed. It was
Yeah.
fixed right after I got here, but thankfully, our risk partners they worked with us on this, which is great. That is a $0 job to the district. Right.
Yeah.
All right, and the other two jobs we're going to see, just to set them up, 2 tennis courts, the South Tennis Courts. I want to thank our Peninsula Tennis Group and those partners for that donation. I hope they come by and take a look at it soon. In fact, I'm going to unlock it right now so they can use it because it can be
Nice.
used today.
Nice.
We want to thank them for their partnership. That's also a $0 job to the district.
Very nice.
Lastly, the main high school gym, got its first rescreen and recode of its early new life, infancy. So we'll take a look at that. That is general fund work.
Okay.
All right.
Great.
All right.
All right.
Hey, Tiger.
Accessories, yeah. Okay,
We're back.
all right, we're back. Continue with the superintendent.
All right, well, thank you for that walk and looking at the tennis courts and the newly screened high school gym floor. It is going to be a partnership going forward about getting the second set of tennis courts contemplated. And of course, we have to look at future construction and think about impact of all areas and what we would want to be doing next. So we'll keep that up. We also just want to say again, thank you for the anonymous donation that helped to get that job done on the tennis courts. It's beautiful. All right, to switch to other news, one of the most significant pieces of news is that the cumulative migration did occur, and we have, just as of Friday afternoon, been given business office only access to cumulative. So we do have about 5 folks who have the access to get in and start to learn the system. I want to let you know that because of that access, it was delayed by about 2 days. We also now see where we have certain adjustments that need to be made coming back into it. So this group of 5 will be helping us to determine what needs to come next. Our budget development going forward will be impacted until the business office can have all of the security access they need, also be able to run all of the report suites that they need and start that development. I met with the business office today, and we're expecting probably 2 to 3 week turnaround to have that finalization done. So I would say to you that our August 18th meeting will be where the budget will be brought for your review and approval. Before that meeting, however, we will be having accessibility to the budget so you can review it, and I can certainly be filling you in. And if you have any questions, please ask. We did meet the July 10th deadline to have a draft budget up that we had already gotten completed before the cumulative transfer. That budget is just purely the draft of what we have done so far. We also have grant balancing that will need to occur because we did receive word that for the July payment for a couple of our title funds, Title II and Title IV, we will be having a withholding for now for July's payment. So we're going to be looking at that for cash flow going forward. And then we also will have expenditure revisions to enter in because we have ongoing negotiations with multiple groups. And I'd like to say that it's progressing very productively. And so we will be doing all of those things. So just to give you an update there. I want to thank the building administrators and the district office administrators. In the summertime, personnel interviews are one of the most significant jobs. And what I'm pleased to tell you is we've had wonderful efficiency from our folks around getting those interviews underway and completed. We've had stronger applicant pools in some areas than we've seen in quite a while. So we're pleased about that. And the principals are working really hard. So cheers to them. Our school board retreat, I want to thank you for the time that you dedicated to that and having our legislators come to hear from us. I think will be top of mind with them. We'll continue to give them the information that they requested and make sure that we're following up as August comes online so we keep the conversations alive. And especially around transition to kindergarten, we're going to keep working in that arena. And what you heard from Megan's report around the importance of getting families attached to us early and communicating with them. When we think about special education, we have child find responsibilities that we already do, and we want to make sure that we're having our outreach as far and wide as possible. Now I'm going to pass out something to you all, not a bingo card. So, when we left our last meeting and also at our retreat, we talked about cell phone impacts and surveying the communities. Thank you. And what we know is that we were looking for instruments that would allow us to have surveying for teachers, students, and parents, as well as other stakeholder groups that might want to weigh in. So I'm here to tell you that I have been researching and have 3 different options that seem quite robust to be able to do that. The one I'm giving you is Panorama because I think Panorama does the best job of giving you information about rationale and things to think about while surveying. They have some great examples of questions for each of the stakeholder groups. But we will be curating our own survey so that we're sure to have our particulars of Sequim School District included. It will look much like a compilation of the 3 survey exemplars we've found. I would say to you that we need a few more weeks to be curating because what we've discovered is that many of these survey tools, they're either pay to use. We'd like to be able to use our own system so that we can do it more efficiently. And we just need time to make sure we're pulling the best questions from each of the tools. What I'd like you to do is read through this at your leisure. If you see questions that you would say, I definitely want to know that, please communicate to me so that we're inclusive of those questions. And if you feel like there might be something that you're surprised is missing, bring that up as well, because we want to be sure we're getting the information to you that you need. Okay. So we're on our way. OSPI held a statewide webinar last week and did give information to school districts about what they are anticipating for school districts to be on the lookout for around funding. So what I would like to say is that it doesn't seem that anyone has a surefire answer of what will or won't occur, but the point of it is have your antenna up, make sure that your budgeting is being considerate of the possibilities of what could happen. And of course, it's late to hear this because in July, a lot of our flexibility is gone. But I do think that we've got a good group of folks who are monitoring grant funds, really considering the fact that the grants are open right now for us to be pulling down each month what our billings are. We're doing that. Tomorrow is one of those billing days as it is. And we'll be looking at carryover that we had expected to take with us and just be making determinations about that. I think that we've started conservative with our budget planning and that was smart, and we'll continue to have those eyes on it. Anything you want to add?
I think that this has been an interesting cycle for the grants. We had written a large part of our Title II grant into teacher release time for the new state standards. And then OSPI never released the new state standards. So we write those grants counting on the state to progress as it says it will. And so it's even stranger trying to now look for ways to spend money in the summer. Because our carryover may be affected. So we're kind of waiting and seeing and hoping that OSPI is anxious and maybe don't have to be as anxious as they are. but we do understand the dilemma that it presents us.
So I'm just curious, so what I've been reading about federal funding freezes, that the federal funding freeze that was announced at the end of June was that it impacts English language learners. So do we know for sure, and some other programs that affect,
It's the Title III grant. We don't receive the Title III grant. So it is Title II and Title IV, and those are the grants, teacher professional development.
okay,
And Title IV is several different things can fall into Title IV. So it does affect those two grants for us.
okay,
When you read what they say, it's 15% of those grants.
Mhm.
So in this district, it would be about $20,000 to $25,000.
okay.
If it's 15%,
Mhm.
it's really a moving, it's moving right now. So we're trying to decide how big the impact will.
Does that
So-
money go through, I'm sorry, through OSPI first and then to the district, or does it come straight to the district from the federal government, or how does that work?
It's part of our consolidated grant, so it comes through OSPI. When you look at there's a map right now on OSPI's site.
Mhm.
Those numbers, when you look at a red map of the state, those are our total budgets for those. So that's the number they have in play, but the wording is 15%, 135 million statewide.
Mhm.
So it's potentially different than what the map shows, but that's, I think they want to be very cautious. And then we'll hope for the best news that we can get.
One of the impacts isn't necessarily what money won't be received. It's when the money will be received. And so we've had a July 1st withholding. We'll probably get the funding, knock on wood. But when you are on cash flow watch and you don't get over $100,000 as you're coming into August where your fund balance is determined, it's problematic. So we do know that July was impacted, but we did get one-time money from the state this one year that will help us with the cash flow issue. We'll just keep our eye on it.
Yeah, that's very true. Normally we put the grant in early, and as soon as you're approved for the grant, we put in that we're going to apply for the grant. And as soon as you do that, you can start encumbering those monies. And this has now changed that.
Mhm.
So you can't speak enough to the fact that money that has always been present in this month is not. Yeah, that's the one. This is the map. So if you have over Palm County. This way. One more. Oh, maybe they've taken it down.
All right, well, I'll keep going. We are monitoring this, and we will keep you up to date. I wanted to let you know a couple of events that I have been invited to, and they were special times. The Masonic Lodge on Saturday night held a senior scholarship awards night, and they gave out 13 scholarships to seniors back on the awards night and had a special dinner for them and their families. It was really nice. And also Level the Field golf tournament on Friday. I have to say that I'm not a golfer, but I was still invited and I appreciate it. It was a beautiful day. We had a lot of good times out there, and I appreciate those who saw me as a charity case and helped me with golf clubs. We do have a couple of community partner meetings moving forward. You know that our facilities use policy and procedure has changed, so we're going to be getting a meeting together for folks who rent our facilities so that they are well aware of what we are doing there. And then we also will be making sure that I continue my quarterly meetings with City Manager Hewish. We meet and talk about what each of our entities has going on. And so that's going to be this week as well. And I look forward to those opportunities. And we have bond oversight and design advisory committees that will continue next month as we've moved forward. So good things are happening. So.
Any questions?
Oh, yes, I do have one. Thank you. We received a postcard for the board and we wanted you to see it. And it's a postcard
Oh, great.
from Nashville.
Oh,
From Nashville. Awesome.
How many students went to Nashville, do you know? It looks like there's 6 or 7 signed up. 13.
I think 13 may have been
Oh, wow.
qualified to go, but I think the group was smaller, so
Mhm.
probably here I see 7 signed it or so. I think it was about that size.
Mhm.
That's great.
Yeah, what a great opportunity for them.
Yes.
That's nice of them. Nice of them to
Yeah.
send that
Really
to
nice.
us.
Yes.
Yeah. Very cool.
Another piece of correspondence I'll pass around was from DA Davidson, letting us know that the closing of the bond did occur on June 24th. And not only did it close seamlessly, it closed with just a tad of advantage because we did have additional bonds that were purchased by another entity after the close of sale. So that was great news.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
Great. Okay. That's gonna bring us to board business. And the first thing we need to do is to accept our letter of resignation from Director Jeffries. Well, then there's two parts to that. One is accepting the letter of resignation, but also to officially open it up as a vacancy. So
Two motions
the
or one?
it could be done in one motion, but the motion would be to accept the letter of resignation and declare a vacancy for District 1. So and I think we have a map of District 1 that we're able to pull up. So I think that it'll be just important, especially as we communicate out this vacancy, because this one does have a specific geographic region at which the whomever is appointed does need to reside in that geographic location, which is roughly speaking to the west of the western side of the school district. I guess I would one would say everything in yellow there. So I think it where does it start? Carlsberg Road, and it kind of goes along the Dungeness River a little bit there, and then yeah, and of course this will be able to be accessed on a district website as well as obviously here on board docs, but for folks to see if they are interested, where if they live in that District 1 location. So well, first thing I guess I would entertain a motion to accept the letter of resignation and declare a vacancy for District 1.
I move that the board accepts the letter of resignation from Director Larry Jeffries from District 1 and declare a vacancy in District 1.
I second.
Do you have any discussion on it? All right. Hearing none, well, actually, before we take the vote, let's see, I know we do need to discuss we can discuss the timeline. Do we need that to be part of the motion, part of the vote, or is that just, more of, I don't recall in past vacancies where that's been part of the decision per se?
Part of decision, but has been part of the communication.
Sure, yeah, okay. So with that, all in favor of the motion to accept the resignation and declare vacancy for District 1, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion passes. And we'll just talk a little bit about some of the discussions we had at the agenda setting meeting regarding potential timeline. Obviously, we wanted to ideally make sure and be nice to get this filled well before the WASDA conference is something that's on our mind, but obviously it does, I think 90 days, is it 90 days? It has to be filled within 90 days is our hard deadline. Of course, we don't necessarily want to wait that long. We don't have to, but so as you can see, we've talked about the August 13th having applications due, and then August 18th potentially interviews and appointing a new member, but certainly open to discussion there. We would start advertising the application window starting immediately tomorrow. And potentially there would need to be a meeting. I mean, we'll just see how many applicants we have. I know that in the past we've had we had so many that we did need to filter it down a little bit. So potentially there would need to be a meeting scheduled for that, or maybe not.
And the interview takes place at one of our meetings, correct?
Right. Yeah. There would be an executive session as well attached to that meeting where we could have some discussion in executive session as well. And then the actual decision making part of it would be done in
In the
open
meeting.
meeting.
Right.
I'm just wondering, since we have 90 days, if we want to push it out a little bit until after school starts, so that more people, I mean, nobody's paying attention to this right now, right? And if we pushed it out to like the meeting on the 15th, then then school starts, I don't know, it just seems to me that you'd cast a wider net that way, and you might have more of an opportunity for more people to be included, and it still is plenty of time for people to be able to do WASDA. I don't know. That's just my thought on the timing,
I mean, if we don't get enough applications, or just to start off with
just to start off with. So that because like I said, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess you could, if it's on Facebook or something, that maybe that would reach a relatively large group of people, but there's just so much activity going on at back to school time at the end of August, and it just seems to me that more people would be paying attention, and you might be able to capture potential applicants who you wouldn't capture on this timeline. So,
And WAS is in November.
yes.
Yeah, so there's time.
A little later in November, if I remember correctly. So.
So would that be like having the applications due after Labor Day?
That's what I
Something
was
like that?
thinking. You could have them due on September 8th and then have the decision made at the meeting on the 15th. I don't know. That's just I mean, we can do it this way too. I mean, if there's more of a concern about just trying to get it, taken care of.
The other way would be to do it this way, but if we don't get sufficient number of candidates, we could extend the deadline.
But then what do you do if you get one applicant, and you feel like, well, that, and then you don't, then you feel, well, I want to reopen it.
Yeah, you were not sure, but
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if that's really.
so maybe, yeah.
Um,
I don't have a problem with waiting until after Labor Day. I mean, I do think it's good to have a full board as soon as possible to make the decisions we have to make, but I see the point about critical mass of possible candidates.
Yeah, I think it's bad. Yeah,
People on
I'm looking at the
vacation.
balance, like one of getting somebody in and trained and
Yeah.
up to speed is a part, and then also making sure we get the right candidate in there. So it's, I think, a balance between the two is what we're discussing. Which one's, a priority.
Yeah, I don't see a downside really, unless, I mean, definitely weigh in here if you think there's a downside to moving out the August 18th date.
I don't think there's a downside.
Mhm.
I think our initial conversation really was around efficiency and having somebody as close to the start of school.
Mhm.
But I think that the points you're making are ones we discussed as well. It's important that people have the knowledge so they can weigh in if they'd like.
So that would be the first meeting in September, is that what we're talking about?
It would be this second. I mean,
Well-
we have one on Tuesday, the day after Labor Day, right? Which is
Or-
the second,
Because
So second meeting in September.
yeah. The next one's the 15th.
so that's when you're thinking of having applications due?
No, that's what I'm thinking of making the
Interviews.
decision. So like have applications due on the 8th, right? I mean, school starts the end last week of
Right,
August.
right.
So that would give people plenty of time.
After Labor Day, right. And then,
And then if there was a potential situation where we needed to, where we had an, too many a good problem to have, of course, too many applications, there'd be plenty of time for us to have that discussion in
mhm.
a meeting prior to that. Well, no, we wouldn't, actually, no, we'd have to look at how exactly we're supposed to navigate that.
Mhm.
We could look
Yeah,
at
the
it.
procedure.
It would give us, follow the procedure, but it would give us time to look at all that. Yeah, I'm not hearing any objection to doing it.
No.
So, make a decision the second meeting in September and close the window, what?
Either
September
September
8th.
5th or September 8th,
um,
Friday or Monday.
Tracy or Regan, do you have I mean, we should just, pick one of those 2 days, but any preference?
I think closing on a Friday is natural.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
8th, I think so.
Okay.
Fifth.
Of September. It's the 5th.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh,
fifth.
5th, sorry.
Yeah, that's what I was just trying to get my calendar up.
Nice. Okay. I think it is important for folks to know as early as possible when those potential interviews would be as well, so. Having that September 15th gives somebody plenty of advance notice as to,
Yeah, I mean, you're not gonna have people on vacation.
yeah. So, that's something I hadn't considered too. Folks may already have plans and so wouldn't be able to be present for the interview, so. Okay. Anything else that we need to discuss regarding that agenda item? We're
I
good?
think so.
Okay. Next, we did add 9.02, the appointment of the WASDA legislative representative for the remainder of that term. And I do believe Director Roca expressed potential interest or being willing to fill in. Is that right?
Yes.
Is there anybody else that want to arm wrestle him for it or or flip a coin or?
I want to express my gratitude.
Thank you. Many.
So I'd like to nominate Director Roca to fill that position.
I'll accept.
Any other nominations? All right. We'll go ahead and close nominations then. And I believe we'll need to we typically do a roll call vote for those positions, right?
I'm sorry, did you accept?
I did, I accept.
Yeah.
Director Johnson, how do you vote?
Aye.
Director Halverson, how do you vote?
Aye.
Director Lovka? how do you
I'll
vote?
abstain.
Director Pickens or Vice President Pickens, how do you vote?
Aye.
Right,
All right.
unanimous. Right. Congratulations.
In that hat.
We've got a lot of hats on.
We all.
I'll do. All right, so that's done. Let's go ahead and move on. We have a few resolutions here. And I believe we'll have some introductions on some of these prior to us taking action, I believe.
Yes.
All right.
Hello again. So the first one you see here is the resolution regarding the adoption of the study and survey. You might recall accepting the assessments some months back. This is the resolution where you not only accept the assessments, but the whole administrative package that we had to put together for OSPI in order to be reimbursed for the study and survey. So this is a full package. When we came before you before, we did not realize that there was much more work to do in order to get those reimbursements. We were corrected by OSPI and we began work in earnest to create this body of work. And this body of work has been accepted by OSPI. So it's just a matter of the resolution. I'll send the resolution off to Mr. Partington, and $26,000 later, we're done for the next 5 years.
Okay. Did you want to talk about did you want us to take action on that one prior to talking, or are these all in one?
That's your prerogative, sir. That there are 3 separate resolutions for 3 specific reasons.
Okay. If you wanted to share the other
Happy to
two
do so.
this time, and then we'll just take act. Okay.
Happy to do so. So our auditorium sewer line has gotten a lot of press from me over the last year. We have been able to stabilize it, okay? But the bottom line is it's not long for this world. The part of it that exits the building and goes to the main sanitary sewer line, the 10-inch that crosses the property, and that's the 10-inch that goes to First Street and intercepts the city system. It's an age-related failure. So drain lines and sewer lines are critical infrastructure systems for any building in any district. So what we are asking for is no different than last May's request to include fire alarm panels in the levy. Justifications within the resolution itself, but just to touch on something if our constituents are listening, the bathrooms in the auditorium are the only bathrooms available to district office employees. They are the DO's bathrooms. They're also the bathrooms, obviously, that serve the public and the students when they're using the auditorium. They're important facilities. And hindsight being 2020, if we would have known the condition of these lines prior to having all the trouble with them over the past 4 or 5 months, when we did the ADA upgrades in the bathrooms, we'd have gone after it then, but we didn't know. So at the end of the day, this exceeds the capacity of the general fund. It qualifies as a project, a capital project. It can be done under the levy, and that's what we're asking for. Short scope. We do believe that the work will be in excess of 6 figures. We do have one quote from a local contractor that is right at 6 figures. We have another quote from a local contractor that is about 40% of the work because they don't do the other half of the work, the concrete, the flat work, the whatnot, and it's 55,000. So we're fairly certain it's going to exceed 6 figures. And because it does exceed 6 figures, it is required by procurement procedure and policy that we compete it on the street. So we have an RFP written, and it will go to small works as soon as the board allows me to pursue that.
So can I just?
Yes, ma'am.
So we still have some funds left from our previous capital, our ongoing, almost done capital projects levy, and that's what those funds are, what would be used to pay for that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Well, in fact, we have the funds in hand.
Oh, good.
We are not waiting to collect. We
Mhm.
have it.
Excellent. Great.
All right, second item. H building drain line. This is a new discovery, or fairly new, discovered over the last 30 to 45 days. In short, the photo lab and darkroom facilities in H building that are actually attached to a classroom have a drain line that traverses both of those rooms, leaves the room into a mechanical room, short story, goes down the floor and out. It is corroded and severely deteriorated to the point to where it's damaged the drywall, caused some other staining, damaged some flooring, and so on. It's a wear and tear matter. And it's important to note that I've had the risk pool um, uh, estimator out here to look at both of these, the sewer and the H building drain lines. Unfortunately, they will cover very little of either because the auditorium line is age and the H building is wear and tear. It's just the H building drain line saw a lot more wear and tear in this particular line, in this particular part of the facility. It saw more wear and tear than the rest of the facility is seeing. So we're in a position again where it's another critical system. It's another drain line. And we're going to have to get it fixed. I don't have a scope. What I know is it's going to exceed 6 figures. We know that much. I anticipate seeing a quote from a local contractor here on short notice, but I've already been in contact with them. They're telling me it's going to go north of 6 figures without, just based on what we know. We haven't cambered the rest of the lines yet, so there's more to come. But this gets us going. This resolution gets us going so we can do the rest of the discovery and carry forward again with another small works project using levy funds to reconcile this issue as well.
Of course, it's H
Questions?
building. Of course, it's H building when it's not getting replaced.
Isn't that ironic?
Yeah.
The other unfortunate part about it is we can't let it stay the way it is because it is an active classroom space. Otherwise, we could potentially take it out of service for a little bit and renovate it, during the bond construction. It's just too far on the horizon. It would remove this particular classroom space benefit from the students for at least a couple of years if we did that. So we feel it more prudent to repair it as soon as possible, get it back into a new condition, maybe change some procedures within that particular facility to alleviate some of that wear and tear and move on.
So this will also be covered with those remaining capital project levy?
Yes,
funds?
ma'am.
So do we have like a deadline by which we have to spend those capital project? levy
ma'am.
funds? No, okay, so we can spend them out over time for projects like this until we are out.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you.
We have a plan
Mhm.
for the remaining funds. We
Is
haven't
this in the
moved-
plan?
It was not.
That's what I figured.
That's the less than fortunate news. The fortunate news is it is within the contingency of the rest of the funds.
Of course, good
Okay.
job. Always have a contingency.
So
I'm just gonna play devil's advocate
Yes, sir.
for a second regarding this particular one. I'm thinking about having a active drain for this particular classroom. You had talked about, is there other options and you can't go without, is that? Like, is this something that every classroom has this type of drainage, or where is? And I'm just wondering if you can share more about that, like if how necessary it is from a
a good
program
question.
perspective.
yeah, so to answer your first question, Building H was built with wrought or what's called black pipe DWV. Okay, it's not cast, it's wrought. The whole building was built that way. How are we going to alleviate the root cause and ensure it doesn't happen again? We're going to upgrade it to modern standards and put plastic in. That fixes the problem
Mhm.
in this particular classroom environment. All in.
So that was the cause. It disintegrated because of the material it was made out of.
We believe that the activity that's going on in that particular classroom caused an elevated amount of wear and tear on that line.
Is that the dark room? or
far-
the-
It is the photo lab and the dark
Okay,
room.
yeah.
both.
Yeah,
Mhm.
okay. And so you use a lot of chemicals and,
I'm not sure what their inventory is, but I can make an assumption based on the wear and tear I see on that line versus the wear and tear I see elsewhere, that room has experienced more wear and tear than others. But does that answer your question, Sherman?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think, is this something that,
Will it be endemic?
well, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always my question as a facility manager too, right? Is this gonna happen somewhere else? So we undid a couple of clean outs elsewhere in the building and had a look. We're not seeing any evidence that those lines are aging or wearing in the same manner.
Okay.
We did check a couple other places.
So it is the particular use of
We
those
believe so.
that-
That's coincidental for us. It's, we're not investigators or detectives, so it's a black and white moment for us. We know that the line is failed, and it's failed for an extended length. And we know it goes down into the slab and below the slab, so
But it does seem like it could be a learning moment if,
sure,
you know,
it's an opportunity. I
kids,
believe.
Yeah.
let's not dump those chemicals. As
It's-
somebody who was a high school, black room person who probably dumped chemicals down the sink, there's probably better ways to dispose of darkroom chemicals, and maybe
Well-
I'll think about that.
Well, I'm coming from somebody that has zero experience in this realm.
Well, my experience was 50 years ago.
Is
Like, it was
is dark room,
poison.
is this still some, I mean, I'm thinking more like digital cameras. Is this,
We still do.
are we still doing this?
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know.
It was 50 years ago when I did it, so I don't.
We have a very robust photography department, and we are teaching them photography of many kinds, including darkroom use. So I would say, yes, it is programmatic. And so we are looking at that, of course, but we do want to give our students the opportunities that they have to learn. And there's much learning to go on with this
Yeah,
situation right now. So those discussions will be coming along.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm only saying that as not having any background information at all, not a photographer in any.
Youngster, let me tell you.
Yeah, right.
But one thing I would like to say, and as Mike said, we're not detectives, so we
Yeah.
do not know. But I just would like to say this. Even use of darkroom materials today is very different than when H building opened. So effects are not just from this modern time right now. I think our effects are probably showing from times gone by too. So we can absolutely work on what we need to, but also recognize sometimes things of the past come back to you. And as far as drainage goes, I think Mike's point is that we've got to fix it, because even if that room wasn't used as that type of a lab forevermore, we still need to have the system be fully workable. So
Ties to the sewer, it's gotta be fixed.
Mhm.
Okay.
So to reinforce the superintendent's comments, more than likely it is compounding circumstances, right?
Mhm.
Compounding wear and tear. Um, That's what we know. So we know we have an issue and we need to fix it.
Okay. All right, so why don't we, I'm just gonna make a motion that we approve resolution number 9, 10, and 11. And I would, we'll do all three as a slate, and I would appreciate a second.
Second.
Any discussion on these three resolutions?
Let's have it.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And last comment from me for the record. We don't put black wrought iron drain pipe in buildings anymore.
Good, good.
So
All right.
our next buildings will be built with the proper DWB plastic, and you will never see this event again.
Excellent.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. I believe that's all we have. All right, so, with that, anything else, good of the order? All right. Have any other, exec session, anything, okay? Then we'll be adjourned, still do have things to sign.
Oh, I think we said.
You send that.
No, no, no,